All right, today we're going to work on two-step equations. Let's go ahead and start reading, and then we're going to solve the example together. The goal is to isolate or quarantine the variable by undoing the current operations. Our first step is going to be to identify the variable. Remember, a variable is just a letter. It's our unknown number in our math problem. After we identify the variable, the second step is to identify the first thing or operation that is happening to the variable. Our third step will be to identify the second thing that is happening to the variable. And then our fourth step will be to identify the solution. And then we will work backwards to undo what has been done. So let's take a look at example 1. First, we're going to identify our variable. Our variable in this problem is x. So I'm going to put that in the first box. Second, we're going to identify the first thing that is happening to our variable. Well, this equation says 2x plus 7 equals negative 13. That means that our variable x is being multiplied by this number 2. So we're going to write times 2 in the second box because that's the first thing that's happening to x. After x is multiplied by 2, we then see that it is added with 7. So we're going to write plus 7. And then in our last box here on the bottom, we're going to fill in the solution, the answer, which was negative 13. So now to solve for x, I need to undo what has been done. So I'm going to start with the plus 7. I'm going to undo that. What's the opposite of adding 7? Subtracting 7, because the opposite of addition is subtraction. And what's the opposite of multiplying by 2? That's dividing by 2. So I take my negative 13 and I subtract 7. Negative 13 minus 7 gives me negative 20. I'm just going to write that down here so I don't forget. Then I can go ahead and do negative 20 divided by 2, which gives me negative 10. So my final answer here is that x equals negative 10. We can also show this algebraically over here on the right side. So I can separate the left and right side of my equation. I identify that my variable is x, and I know that I want to undo my addition first. So instead of plus 7, I'm going to write minus 7. And with equations, what I do on one side, I have to do to the other side. So I'm going to write minus 7 over here as well. Plus 7 minus 7 equals 0, so these cancel out. And that leaves me with just 2x on the left side of the equal sign. And then 13 minus 7 we know was negative 20. Our second step was to take negative 20 and divide by 2. So again, algebraically, what I do to one side of my equation, divide by 2, I have to do to the other side of my equation, divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 equals 1, which is how we are left with just 1x. So I'm going to write x equals, and then negative 20 divided by 2 equals negative 10. So again, I solved using my box method, or with my classic algebra, I see that the answer is x equals negative 10.